think we are live. Let's turn you on. Just check. That's an issue. We have the audio. And I don't want to turn it off. That was good. Maybe I just need to turn one of these down. Is that better? Yes. Whew. Amazing. What a start. Welcome back again. I'm clearly still figuring out how to use OBS. Let's just focus this camera up so it doesn't turn off. Magic. So yesterday we were working on this website here, and I feel like something's not quite right here. I think this container's moved slightly to the left. It has. So if ever let's take this headphone out actually now, I don't think we need that. If ever your work seems to have changed, you can always Command and Z to undo, or you can just kind of manually reposition it using these buttons up here in Figma. So that's not what I want to spend today doing, but what I want to spend today doing is working on the rest of this design, and I want to work quite quickly. Now we've got something there, I want to kind of work downwards now, building this out and getting almost maybe a full design done in the next sort of 25 minutes. I generally can't work at that speed. I'm not going to lie and say I can, because I can't. But there's nothing like challenging yourself, especially when you're live streaming on YouTube. So I'm really quickly going to flesh out a few things that I know I want on this page. So this has got a really, really nice design. So that's hopefully attracting a lot of people immediately when they land on the website. They're going to be attracted to the design and think, oh, this company here have a beautifully designed website, and that's going to add credibility to the person thinking about hiring them for their next job. What we can do though is we can add to that by adding some testimonials in this top section, because most people say, especially when you talk about trades, any trades, do you know a reliable X, whether that's plumber, joiner, electrician, anything. So we can calm any fears really fast by putting testimonials in this section. So at some point I'm going to come back to that, and essentially what I want to do is I'm just going to leave 3 placeholder boxes here. I don't know why I made it into a square, but I'm going to have one there, and one there, and they look a bit odd. So we can put our grid back on, and we can just line these up to the grid. It's a 12 column grid. So if we had them as 4 column, that would be equal, but that's too wide. So we could have three columns, maybe. That would be quite nice, I think. We'll make that one a bit. So I want to center this one. That's good. And I can pop that one there. And then all I'm going to do is, instead of creating a new one and trying to guess the size, I'm just going to pop it there. And I know I kind of want it, something like that. And then maybe I'd do a little more in here of something like read our testimonial. Read our customer, don't like testimonials, feedback. Everyone understands that magic. And then I want to find some sort of script font for that. So I'm really quickly going to go to the bit of software which isn't open, that's really slow. No, we won't. We'll go to Google Fonts. We'll keep all this free. Google Fonts are all free. So I'm just going to click on Google Fonts and drag this over here. Magic. And all Google Fonts are included in Figma. So if I can, I've never actually seen this page before. Yeah, fonts.google.com. So I know that I want something that's almost like a handwriting. So I'm going to turn everything off except handwriting and pick something. I don't want it to be too childish, but I want it to be nice, not like that. I kind of know what I don't want. Maybe this Calam. There's only 3 styles. Usually I only get a few styles, but at least with this one there's 3. So we've got bold, we've got a light. So yeah, that for a script type font, this could do. So that's called Calam. So I'm just going to minimize that. I'm going to come back here, type in Calam. Hopefully that's there. Yes, it is. Great. I'm going to make this smaller. Maybe something like 18. Maybe that's too small. I don't know. Let's see. And it really depends where it is on here. So that's maybe a bit too small. Let's try 24. And then we'll try and, I don't know, because this is very desktop-y at the minute. I don't know how this is going to work on mobile. Maybe it won't even be there on mobile. I'm not sure yet. I think it will though. I think we'll try and squeeze this into the design. And then I'm going to do, I'm so rubbish at drawing, but I'm going to try and draw. Wow, we've got arrows. Okay, so, and then I want to draw an arrow from there to there, and then I'm going to increase how big it is, change the color. It's too big, so let's change it back down to maybe 5. I want really the size of this arrow to match the font, so I'm just going to keep playing with it until I think it looks about right. Maybe one more. So I think it's starting 3. We're going back home. Great, and then I want to, and this is where my skills go a bit rubbish, and I can't see, which I've got plenty of friends that laugh at me for that one. So what I'm eventually going to do is I'm going to put a curve in this line. I think I've got the wrong tool open. Let's have a look. I need to double click, and then I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. And I just want to do something like that. Perfect. And then if we want to, we can sort of bring that in a bit more. We can turn it round a bit so it kind of doesn't look too odd. And a little bit of space in between them elements. Yeah, something like that. And it kind of gives it a little bit of a human feel. So I don't know if I like that or not. So I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to come back to it. And let us keep working down here. Now we've got, I think, everything in place for this, and at some point we'll move over and we'll pop that in there. I have no idea how yet, but we'll attempt to do it. So I'm going to use some grey boxes. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm just going to try and work really fast and then fix things afterwards. So I'm just going to kind of go off emotion. I'm just going to work in grayscale as well. So I know I want quite a dark font for this. So these might not necessarily be in order, and we'll move them around. So I know that I want to use a light background, so I'm going to just do something like our services. I'm going to take this text section here, just put it inside that group. I'm just going to move it up to the top. I'm going to have another one of these. I'm going to call it maybe it's an old company, maybe it's a new company, I don't know. Serving you can tell I'm making this up on the fly. Reliably serving Yorkshire since, I'm going to make up a number because obviously it's a fictional company anyway, so I'm going to make up a number. I'm going to call it 2013. So they've been around 8 years. Yeah. Awesome. And then maybe we'll do something like, just make this a little bit bigger. Just something like really on the button of what they do. And this doesn't have to be perfect for now, because we can come back and we can change text at any time. So let's see if we can play on. So we've sort of played on this by saying reliably serving Yorkshire since 2013, although I've got South Yorkshire in there. And then plumbing repairs, servicing and pipe work. So let's have something like servicing, repairs, and let's go with an ampersand. Servicing, repairs, and pipe work. Or maybe, no, actually, sometimes it's good just to get all ideas out. Here to work in your home, business or warehouse, something like that. So it kind of warehouse, warehouse. There we go. So something to show the visitor of the website if they are domestic, commercial, or industrial. Maybe warehouse is not the right thing. Maybe it needs to be factory. And then you can kind of comprehend the level of work that they do. And maybe they don't. Maybe they just do domestic. I don't know. So we've told them what we do. We've given them a little bit of kind of quelled any fears before they even rise. We've asked them and we've informed them how we're going to end this engagement. We want them to call us for a quote. The only thing that we haven't said is if they work on homes, which kind of it looks very domestic at the minute anyway. So I'm going to pop that there for now. And then what I want to do is, because this is the main headline on the page and that's size 59, I want to make this a little bit smaller. So it logically to our brains, we know we're working in the right way, and we know that that headline is the most important. There's other Google concerns and whatever else, but doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to kind of feel out a font size here. So we'll just try 48. And then we're going to come back to these font sizes in another time. How are we doing for time? 15 minutes in already. Right. Maybe we're not going to get this design done. Maybe I need to just shut my mouth. So I want this to be a really simple block of text here, just selling the business a little bit. And then we're just going to use whatever colour this is. So we'll just use 42, 42, 42 as the colour, 51, 51, 51. Cool. And then Figma's got some really cool tools in terms of generating dummy font or dummy text. We've got Lorem Ipsum. And we've got this plugin here. Sorry, I'm going to just work really fast to get this moving. And what we can do is generate the perfect amount of text to fit the layers frame. And this is just a plugin called Lorem Ipsum. I'm just going to do that. The width of this container is, I'm going to make this a bit wide. I'm going to make it 720. And then I'm probably going to make this regular. So it looks, so that's the size that people are going to see it. If we turn that off, it's going to look something like that. Looks like a big paragraph. So let's just do that. And then instead of doing loads of enters and not really having too much control, I'm just going to enter down to the next line. I'm going to use this tool here, which is your paragraph spacing. And I can just set that to whatever I want. So let's have it there. Then let's revisit this text. We've got the letter spacing at 0, which is okay. Basically, you make this wider the more readability you want. But obviously, you can't just do that and it's really readable. So it's definitely just finding something that works. So let's go with 2%. So that's increasing the letter spacing by 2%. And then I want to revisit this line height here. And I'm just going to widen that a little bit. I'm going to actually set that to 160. And that's going to be the intro selling section. And again, I'm going to do a few versions of this because at the minute it kind of looks a little bit bland. But that's fine because we will get some sort of design style going on. I'm going to add a little bit of spacing actually as well. I'm going to have quite big spacing on this. And maybe, I'm not going to try and get too bogged down today in the design because I want to work out the content. But maybe I'm just going to add in a few of these lines just to connect some of these things. I'm going to go 42, 42, 42 again and know that I want that to be the same colour as the text. And then I'm just going to center this. And that kind of joins them sections. Whether I want that there, I don't know yet. It might go. It's just an idea. And then another idea that I had was maybe I want to have some vertical text. Or maybe not vertical text, but text that's turned 90 degrees. So if we do something like, I don't know what the company's called, but let's say it's called Expert Plumbing. So I'm going to have Expert Plumbing like that. I'm going to colour it 42, 42, 42, surprise, surprise, with an extra 4. Nope. But then I'm going to actually set the opacity of this to something like maybe 20% or 30%, so it's like that. And it just makes it a bit grey, but we're still working off that same base colour that we always work off. And then all I'm going to do is I can turn this manually, or I can use this over here to set it to 90 degrees. And it's too small. So I want to bump that up to something really crazy like 150. And I'm going to have this behind all the other elements. And then maybe I'm going to increase the line height a don't know actually. Maybe I want to make it smaller. And again, this is the part of design that's really iterative, where you just literally, you've got an idea and you're just playing with something until you think, actually, yeah, I really like that. I don't really like that, but for the sake of moving on and working fast and kind of working through some ideas, it's pretty good. Maybe I want to do something similar to that as well. So I actually don't want to do that. So I'm just going to leave that for now. Maybe we can do something clever, like how we join it up to this. Maybe we do something like that instead. And I don't actually know. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with that. So we can come back to that. And it's okay not to have all your ideas fleshed out and just work through it. The main thing is the text. If you know the text, everything else will fall into place. So I'm actually just going to increase the opacity, increase the transparency of that, reduce the opacity to 10%. And you can just see here, you've got this pass-through value. So if I press 0 on the keyboard, it sets it to 100. If I press 1 on the keyboard, it sets it to 10. And then if I press 1 and then 1 again really fast, it sets it to 11. So really quickly, you could do like 02 just by pressing a 0 and a 2. I'm just going to set mine to 10. And maybe it's going to be something like that. And then maybe we do tighten these up a bit, or maybe we just set it back to 2 like the rest of the text. And then maybe we do set it back to 150. Nope, 15 is not going to cut it, 150. And actually, I don't like that either. So, just going to spend ages on this one thing. Let's do 200, and then let's run it down the page like that. Righty-ho. Okay, so it'd be nice actually in this top section to show some images about the business. So what I'm going to do is, out of time, not great. Might do an extra 10 minutes today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to again copy this whole thing, and then I'm going to turn my grid back on, and I'm going to left align this section. I'm going to make sure that this is the layer that's most visible in the design. I'm going to turn my grid back off. I'm going to set these to left aligned, which has totally ruined what I was trying to do. I'm going to not go to the leftmost column. I'm going to start a column in, and I really like that. I'm going to move this slightly in, so it kind of sits like that. I'm going to make this 5% rather than 10, so this really stands out. This is now just a design element that doesn't really matter. And then over here we can do some stuff with images. So for now, I'm just going to grab my rectangle tool out, and we could either have one big image, OCD cropping up there. So we could either have one image like that, or we could have a mini gallery of 4 images. So, and then all I'm going to do here, this is pretty clever. So I'm going to line that up to that. Then I'm going to press, I'm on a Mac, so this is Command and D, which duplicates the element. And then I'm going to grab both of these, and I'm going to press duplicate again, and then I'm going to move them down there. And hopefully it should give me, it doesn't, I guess it's somewhere around there. But then if I press duplicate D again, it will leave the same space in between them elements and keep going down if I want. So it's a really easy way of making a grid in Figma. So we could now show, so if we're saying here to work in your home, business or factory, we could show a picture of a house or a kitchen or a bathroom, or we could show a kitchen, a bathroom, a commercial business and a factory or an industrial kind of space. Just have a drink of coffee. Or, and this is exactly how I work, so don't just think I'm doing loads of versions just for the sake of it. Or then we could, instead of copying that one actually, let's delete that one. Let's go back to our original center aligned version. And we could use these same boxes that we've created. I'll just copy them. I'm just going to hold down Alt on the keyboard and then just drag and then release the mouse button and then release Alt. And that just, that allows you to essentially copy and move at the same time. And then we could make a mini gallery there, which is pretty good. I don't know if these actually line up. Do they line up? Yeah, they seem like they do. So now we've got a mini gallery there. Just going to move that. That's pretty good. I don't mind any of these. So I'm quite happy that we can move on to the next section. I just wanted to see what happens if we did that. You don't really see that much in design. Headline images and then some body text beneath it. So that could be pretty cool. And then if we want to get some idea of some images, we can just open Pexels again. And like I said, doesn't always like to work first time, or second time, or third time. Whee! Awesome, here we go. And then I'm just going to type in business, and hopefully we get some office type pics. So we'll get some cheesy office type pics. So let's do business there. Let's do bathroom. Maybe I've got to type in restroom because it's American. Nope, bathroom works. So let's, what looks really white and clean. So you can see how the image has been distorted there, but that's okay. We'll type in kitchen here. It's not too bad, not too bad. And then we'll type in industry. That's not how you spell industry. Got to be the most used industrial picture ever. Yeah, bit of colour, why not? Okay, so we've got some ideas for some images in there. That's great. I'm going to try and not get all OCD about this design because I'll probably come back and get OCD about it another 4 times before we're finished. So what I would like to do is, we are on 28 minutes. I'm just going to refocus this camera so it doesn't turn off. There we go, did a nice pose while we were at it. My arm's hurting today as well. I had COVID booster yesterday, which is always nice. I'm going to move forward. I don't know what I'm going to move forward with. Don't know. Usually I'd flesh these out a little bit more. So I do really like this one, because otherwise I don't want everything to be centre aligned. And I really like starting off because we've got centre, left aligned, then back to centre. So maybe what I'll do is another. You can have as many kind of art boards if you like, or frames they're called. I'm going to copy these all over onto here. I'm just going to drag them over. So we've got 2 business ones, 2 residential or domestic ones. Awesome. Great. Magic. Now I know for my next section I'm going to use a slightly different background colour. Probably something. Well, actually I don't know. So let's create a rectangle. Let's give it the colour 44, 44, 44, 42, 42, 42. and then we're gonna give it some opacity and maybe something quite light, but not quite as light as that. So let's say 20%, and this is not going to stay grey. It's going to be a different colour, and we've got quite a lot of space in there. So maybe what I'm going to do, now that that is left aligned, I'm going to move that over here so that lines up, and try not to get ugly here, but we might as well use, you can see that that line is not quite straight. That's interesting. Might as well use the width of the H. There we go. Oh, is that a bit too wide? I don't know. It's close. So let's just, it's 11, let's give it 10. And then, yeah, it's not quite straight, that line. See, it's 88, I've moved it. There we go, back to 90. Is it the same width? No, it did need to be 11. It's close enough though. So I'm gonna go with it. I'm going to move you up to, it's when I move it, look, doesn't like to be exactly, there we go. Okay, and then, I don't want to go overboard with this. I really don't want to over design it, but we could do something like an 01. I like numbers, love numbers. 150, no, too big. 90. 05, something like that. Or maybe we could have, getting bogged down in the design here, so what happens, turn it back, maybe go for something smaller than this. So that's 48, let's go for something like 14. And now it's probably going to look really silly next to this. And it does look. So it's not, no one gets it right first time. Let's try 17. And then we can almost use this style all the way down. Maybe. We'll see. We might get rid of that, or we might change it to something like welcome. I usually don't like that, but yeah, I don't like it. We're gonna sack that off now. That's a bad idea. In fact, we won't sack it off entirely though, because we'll just, already know what we're gonna do. We're going to copy it. We're just gonna work on another one. So we're building up lots of ideas, which when you're doing a web design project over quite a long amount of time, it's good because you get to see you working, and you can show this to the client of how much you've actually kind of put into this and why you've made certain decisions, whether they're just design or they're actually outcome based as well, which often they should be. So I'm going to drag our services section up, and I know what I want to do for this already. I want to give a full rundown in like a grid type format of what the company does. So I want to use the same heading style as that, which is 48. We can as well. We can set up heading styles in Figma, so you can just select a style. So we could save this now as desktop, because we're working on desktop /H2. And now all I have to do is click on this, it's already organized it as desktop, and bam. We have the same text style. And then what happens if I ever update this one, so if I ever come in here, click on this, and say change it to 90, you already know what's going to happen. It's going to change everything. So it's a way to keep your design really, really neat and in order. Just want to move you over a bit. Great, right. We have got 1 minute, not even that. Let's quickly flesh out this with an icon from Iconify. See if we can get a tap. taps aren't called taps in America, are they? The faucet. I don't even know how to spell it. Yes! Amazing. Thank you for that. And for now, I'm just going to use that for everything. 100% would not do this. This button here just keeps the aspect ratio of your design, or it constrains the proportions. So if you change the width, it will automatically change the height. So I'm going to set that to 32. I don't know why, just a guess. I'm going to make a H3 style here. I'm just going to detach this, and I'm going to, again, guess. So I'm going to go with 28. And then I'm going to put servicing. Our services. Servicing. That's a bit rubbish. Let's go with repairs first. Repairs. There we go. And then what I'm actually going to do here is, I know I want them to be 3 across at desktop. So I'm going to make that there. And then I'm going to move this so that's in line. Then with this, I'm going to move that so Figma's really good because it gives you these lines that just pop up when things are aligned right. So I'm going to move that there, and then I'm going to grab a text element that we've already used. Same style, same. So we're working quite big here. This is font size 20. I'm going to potentially mess this up and just change it to 18. And I'm going to do the same here, change that to 18, but we're only going to have a little line about each service. So I'm going to keep it something like that. Really light and breezy in this section because we want someone just to scan through it and know that they can help someone. Great. And this is the sort of, that's the sort of style that I want. And I don't know if I don't know if I need anything else here actually. Just something like that. I just want to work a little bit on how much space there is. So you can see that I've got 14 pixels between each one. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more. So we've got 28 between them two. So that's double that and then half that. Seems to make sense. Let's bring it down. No, wrong way. Let's take 7 off 1985. So let's change that to 78. Again, no, wrong way. Need to add 7 on, so it needs to be 92. There we go. Awesome. So I'm going to go with that. So there's 21 and 14 between them two. Kind of works on a numbers scale, I guess. And then we're actually going to make a component out of this. We haven't done this before. And it means the same thing as when we set up the text style. So when I change the master component, it's going to update anything else. So if I change the spacing between these elements, it's going to update every element from there on. And all I'm going to do is I've done it the wrong size, look. We've got 4 across. Let's go with it, and then we'll see if we need 4 across. So what we can do is now we can type in servicing, there we go. Boilers, pipework, that sounds a little bit wrong. Great, if we just move that, and you can see there, we've got these. We don't have too much in terms of space between these elements. So what we can do, if we really wanted to, is we can change the grid slightly to accommodate more space, or we could change it to 3. So I'm going to leave it as 4. I'm going to change on the master component now, and you see the real power of this. I'll change the font to 17 so we can get a bit more text in there. Maybe I'm going to change it to 16. I don't want to go massively down. And again, this needs to be checked at full size to make sure it's still readable, which it seems to be. That's 1:1 size. And then I'm going to turn the grid back on. And this is the last thing we're going to do before we finish. I'm going to select the artboard so I can see the grid. I'm going to add a second grid. So I'm going to press add, 12 columns. So change the count to 12. Set the margin to, I think we're at 120. And we've got an identical grid now. I'm going to change the colour so it's blue, so I know which grid I'm working with. Obviously, if we have them both turned on, it makes it look a bit purple. And then I'm going to increase I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to increase the gutter. So I'm going to try it at 40, which makes like a double-sized gutter, which has essentially made this column smaller. And then change that, and then we can move that over, move that over, and move that over. And then we can turn the other grid back on. You can see now it's still within the grid, but there's a bit more space in between them. And that's how that's looking. So, and then I'm just gonna, let's lock that in place, right click and just lock. And then we can just grab these and do the old like that. Make this artboard a little bit bigger. Drag that down. Drag these out the way. Unlock this artboard because now we need to make this bigger. Sorry, not the artboard, the rectangle. I'm going to make it quite big again because I want to move this here. I'm going to group these together. I'm going to try and center align them vertically. That one in there. And that's what we've got so far. So this is actually starting to turn into something quite smart, and if we want to, we can then just copy this over and we can then join up some of these styles. I'm actually just going to use this here just to make it a bit bigger. And I don't like that. It's too much, kind of clogging the design up a little bit. It doesn't quite work. Probably needs to be somewhere around there as well. And then we didn't take that, which we should have. Don't know why it's so wide, but we can fix that just by pressing that button there. It obviously needs to be 02, like that. Hey! Yeah, I hate that. So we're just going to remove it. So one of the reasons why I wanted to work in grayscale here is because if we get the layout right first, when we add the colours, it'll just make it pop. Sometimes when you add colour too quickly, it can trick you into thinking a not so great design is nice. Or maybe designers that are more talented than me that don't have that issue. So I really like working in grayscale and then adding things in afterwards. So for instance, this is not going to be 42, 42, 42. It's going to be one of these colours, like that. And then this is one of the medium dark colours. So that's going to be something like that. And then this might be white, it might be black, it might be more than likely. If we change this to 42, 42, 42, then when we select all, we can change that to like something like that. And it quickly starts to come together. I'm not saying we're going to use that because I don't actually like that, but it does make things easier to know that you're working on the right track. So we'll leave that here for now, and it is starting to come on nicely. Obviously we need to do all this on a mobile design, but maybe I'll just fly through that, and we can quickly see we've got 2 sections built in 45 minutes, so I'm quite happy with that. And hopefully now we've got all the grids, we've got some elements built, it should keep working on. Maybe tomorrow we'll have this finished, definitely not today though. So thanks for tuning in. I hope the sounds worked, because after filming all this video, doing all this stream, it's going to be wounding if the sound didn't work. But yeah, there we go. Back again tomorrow, roughly at the same time, and we'll keep this bad boy rolling. There we go. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.